Hey everyone, Mary Berger here, and today I want to talk to you about a company in Vancouver, Washington called In Light for Life. In Light for Life provides infrared LED light therapy as well as oxygen chamber therapy. That would be hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy. I had an experience with them recently and I wanted to let you all know about it. Back in October, I had my annual physical with my doctor. And at that time, he told me I had not had a mammogram since 2008. And I'm thinking, whoa. All right, so I went and had a mammogram done. And the radiologist did not like the results. He said there was a spot that was a little concerning to him. So he had me come back in and do another mammogram. And again, they read the results right away and did not like it. So they had me do an ultrasound. And the results of the ultrasound eventually showed that, yeah, there was a spot there and they wanted to check it out. So they recommended a needle biopsy. So I went in a couple of days before Thanksgiving and had a needle biopsy. And I was supposed to get the results of that, I think the next week. So the next week I get the results and I was told that the needle biopsy essentially came out clean, but there was a lot of cells around where they took the cells out for the needle biopsy that looked suspicious, so they wanted me to go in and have a surgical biopsy. So in the meantime, I had gone in to see my friends at In Light for Life, Edna Ness and Caitlin Wilson. They are actually customers of mine as well. I own a computer repair business and I was in their office working on their computers. And I related my story to Edna, and she told me that she needed to get me in the hyperbaric oxygen chamber right away. So Edna and Caitlin bent over backwards to make sure I had the time I needed in the oxygen chamber. And so I was doing that several times a week. In the meantime, I talked to the surgeon about the biopsy, and I decided to go ahead and do the biopsy. And we scheduled that for the end of January. In the meantime, I had done a couple of other things holistically to kind of further my healing without going, well, I was doing the medical profession thing where I was doing the biopsies, but I also wanted to do a few holistic things besides the oxygen chamber. I went out to a sacred space of land out in the Columbia River Gorge, right on the edge of the Columbia River. And I did this ceremonial purge of the offending cells from my body. It was a really sacred experience. The next thing I did was in January, at the time of the new moon, I put my intention out there that when I had my surgical biopsy at the end of the month, it was going to come out clean. If any of you do practices like this with new moon ceremonies, you'll know that when you do a ceremony and put your intentions out there on the day of the new moon, that when the full moon comes a few weeks later, your intentions will start coming true. So with that said, I had my surgical biopsy scheduled for the end of January and went into the actually the pre-testing center where they did an ultrasound before the surgery. And in the ultrasound, it was really interesting because the doctors could not find any trace at all of the area that they wanted to biopsy. So they decided to do a mammogram. So they did a mammogram, they found what they thought was the area, they inserted wires and dye so that the surgeons would know exactly where to cut, and then they wheeled me into the surgical room where I had the surgery and the biopsy. So a couple of days later, it was about 4 days later, I got the results back. It was actually the day of the full moon. I got the results back that my biopsy was completely clear. Now, I credit the results of that biopsy to several things, but one of the biggest things I credit that for is my therapies at In Light for Life. The time in the oxygen chamber, I probably had about 20 dives in the oxygen chamber. And I really credit that for the fact that I had a clean biopsy. So I just wanted to let you all know that In Light for Life is a great place to go for infrared light therapy or oxygen therapy. If you have some sort of medical issue that you're dealing with and you want to deal with it partly on a holistic basis, that is a great place to go. I'm going to put some notes down at the bottom of this video here that will let you know how to get in touch with the folks at In Light for Life Oxygen Therapy. Edna Ness, Caitlin Wilson, Jamie Jacobson, all three of them went out of their way to make sure that I got the treatments I needed to further my health along. So thank you for listening to this video. Thank you to In Light for Life. I am forever grateful for your services.